21st Century Transformation Plan. It's a multi-year project to reduce the harm of incarceration and reflect best practices. The plan also enhances community-based reentry services that we provide to youth. Research tells us that community-based services and supports are the most effective. And last year, a major initiative of this plan was fulfilled when we opened Monarch Youth Center in Central Illinois. It was designed to be trauma-informed, therapeutic, and less harmful than a traditional carceral setting. In recent years, we've addressed staffing challenges and expanded high school educational services to students in DOC custody, thanks to legislation passed by this body. Our significant progress over the last decade has been because of our partnership with the General Assembly. We know that we have more work to do to make the system safer and more effective, and that's why this budget is so important. Our FY27 GRF request is just under $175 million. This is an increase of $21 million from the current budget. It includes $5 million to operate Monarch Youth Center at full capacity for a full year. That was not included in our 26 budget. It includes $7 million for positions that we need for 24/7 operations and to meet our statutory and consent decree mandates. This provides adequate supervision of youth, services to meet their needs, and safe conditions. It includes $6 million for cost of living and step increases for existing staff pursuant to collective bargaining agreements. And finally, it includes funds to upgrade video camera systems for safety and accountability, and purchases for upgraded, safe furniture for youth living spaces. Thank you for your time. We're happy to answer any questions.
Director, thank you for your introduction. Do we have any questions? We're going to start off with Senator Sally Turner. Senator, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you again. First of all, kudos on Monarch. Had the pleasure of touring it, and a lot of people that I knew that are working there, they're from Logan County. And Lincoln and Logan County, not just Central Illinois, but Lincoln, Logan County is where this resides. And we are very thankful for taking a part of the rundown, dilapidated Lincoln Developmental Center area and making that look good. A couple things I wanted to ask. You mentioned the $5 million for Monarch. What is that going to do for Monarch, that $5 million?
That's a great question. That is primarily for personnel. So as we opened the facility last fall, we started serving young people there in September.
And how many did we have last fall?
When we opened the facility in November, we had hired one full class of JJS staff, the frontline staff. That was approximately 38 staff, along with a number of the additional positions, educators, licensed mental health clinicians, dietary workers. So since then, we continue to trickle in additional hires, so that number keeps going up. But at that level of frontline JJS staff, we're able to safely operate one of the two housing units with that level of staff.
So only one's open now, is that right?
Only one's open now. So when we have this additional staff on board in fiscal year 27, we'll be able to fully operate both of the housing units. We're currently serving about 17 youth there on any given day. We'll be able to get up to 30.
So $5 million seems like a lot for just hiring employees, but what else is there that's going to go into that? I mean, it can't just be just employees. It's got to be something more than that.
I'll let our CFO dig into the details. Yeah.
Thank you. Lindsay England, Chief Financial Officer. This current fiscal year, in fiscal year 26, we received $10 million, and a lot of that, again, was driven by our personnel that we wanted to bring on, and including programming. This includes our healthcare contract. It includes maintenance of utility expenditures. So the way we have it in this is a big lump sum of $10 million in this fiscal year, and then we're adding $5 million to that, so it brings it up to $15 million in fiscal year 27. But again, that includes your personnel costs. It includes all the major objects that are that are separated in our other facilities, contractual services, commodities, All of that is in this lump sum, so it does include the food costs, our healthcare costs, utilities, anything of our equipment needs. We do ask for a lump sum in the fiscal year 27 budget. It will help, like these, so we don't have to necessarily transfer money in between those lines. We have a lot of upfront costs still that we're seeing, a lot of upfront equipment, those type of things. In the fiscal year 28 budget, we will line item it out, or that is the intention.
And that all makes perfect sense now, understanding.
Okay, yes,
You know
thank
that, but so when we first started with the appropriation that you were given last year to get this up and going, how many people were we serving there as residents, and then how many will we be serving in this next fiscal year?
When we started serving youth in November, we brought in 2 youth initially, and within a couple of weeks, we added additional youth until we reached the 15 to 17 that we've been serving consistently for the last month or so. When we're fully operational, we will be able to serve up to 30.
Up to 30, just there. And so I know Senator Bryant mentioned earlier about the concern perhaps that if one of the facilities no longer has some of their juveniles but were sentenced as adults, where the community where Monarch sits is very quiet, serene, it's in residential area. So can you just reassure me that there aren't going to be any people there that would upset not only the residents there, but the people that are presently serving there as young people trying to get their lives together?
Yes, I think we will use appropriate caution in who we place in this facility. I think that in my experience, sometimes young people who struggle in other less therapeutic settings do better in a more therapeutic setting. And so I think that's sort of the process we'll be working through, is assessing each individual youth to make sure they're appropriate for a very therapeutic setting like Monarch.
Okay. And I know you have some fine people working there. Like I said, I know a lot of them. I don't think I had anything else. Nope, I think that's all. And thank you again, and I appreciate your service. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Do we have any other questions? Senator Bryant.
Thank you, Director. And I saw you in the back nodding when I was asking about the funding. So Harrisburg is going to be fully funded through DJJ.
Funds for Harrisburg to continue operating are in the FY27 budget.
Okay, and we're committed that there will be no adults there until all the juveniles are moved. I'm sorry, no one sentenced to adult time will be at that juvenile facility until all the juveniles are gone.
I think the answer to what you're asking is yes. I'll just add the caveat. There are already young people in DJJ custody who were sentenced in criminal court but start their time in custody at DJJ because their sentence occurred
Until they turn 18 or?
Before their 18th birthday, and then pursuant to the Code of Corrections, they can stay in DJJ custody until their 21st birthday.
Till the 21st birthday.
Correct.
But Harrisburg is going to have what ages?
18 to 22.
18 to 22.
So, but all of the juvenile court kits must be removed
Okay,
pursuant to federal law.
thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, I had a question about hiring. For your staffing, and I'm sorry, I should have looked this up before the hearing, but does your staffing still require for security staff that they have a bachelor's degree?
No, the requirements were changed in statute
A couple years ago?
4 years ago.
Okay, I
So
wasn't sure if that included
There's
you
an
all.
alternate qualification.
For hiring security staff, you know, you had that problem with that one security dude, remember? He was part of a gang.
Oh. Go ahead.
There's an alternate for our juvenile justice specialist titles. There's an alternate qualification that someone who has a high school diploma and 2 years of experience working with young people as a coach, a teacher, or mentor, that's the alternate qualification other than a bachelor's degree.
Okay, thank you.
To my virtual committee, do we have any questions? Seeing no question. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hunter and Edley Allen.
No, go ahead, Ellie. I'll
Go ahead,
after
Senator.
you.
Okay.
No,
Go ahead.
leader. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to mention that Director Vickery, regarding the Western Avenue site, I know I've been working with you guys on the site, on a new site. That site that they're on Western Avenue is in a huge warehouse. It has always been inappropriate to hold anybody there, especially youth residing there. And I know that you all are looking other places. Would you like to share with the committee what you're doing in terms of a new location of Director Vickery?
Absolutely. And as we've talked before, I very much share your concerns about using that location for DJJ Youth.
Can you speak up, Director?
I share your concerns for using that facility for our youth. Moving out of that facility has been a priority of our 21st Century Transformation Plan. We have had several attempts.
Oh, your voice down.
Several attempts. Is that better?
Yes, go ahead.
Several attempts to find alternate locations in the last 5 years. We are currently looking at multiple properties in partnership with CMS. We are optimistic about them, and we will continue to move that forward.
What kind of time frame are you looking at, Director?
I'm working through the appraisal process on one of the properties currently, which will take a few more weeks, and then we'll be working with CMS to assess whether an offer for a purchase is in the state's interest, and we would go from there. I don't know exactly how long that will take.
Okay. Okay. And then I also would like to just share that myself and Congressman Davis and a group of other legislators, I think LaShawn Ford was there and a few other legislators. On Christmas Eve, we took a group of community leaders, about 20-something people, over to this Western Avenue site for a Christmas Eve singing carol. We sung Christmas carols to the inmates there. And it was such a wonderful occasion because many of the young people were depressed. It was a holiday. They were incarcerated or locked up. And I just think that it was just a wonderful opportunity. This is my first time participating in it, but I believe that Congressman Davis had been taking groups over there for years. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Director, for that opportunity. I look forward to singing Christmas carols and visiting the site to the guys that are there on an annual basis. Thank you.
We look forward to having you back, and if I'm in town, I would love to join that trip as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. Senator Edley Allen.
Thank you, Chair, and I would like to be part of that event as well. Thank you, Director Vickery, for your testimony today. And I first want to make a comment about the materials that your team has provided to us. It really reflects the pride and professionalism and the seriousness that your office takes in the work that you do day in and day out. So I want to thank you for that. And when we met, I had a question about the population what was driving that. Can you speak briefly to that?
Yes, we have seen an increase in the youth population that we're serving over the past couple of years. From fiscal year 24 to 25, it was an 8% increase. And from fiscal year 25 thus far in 26, I'm projecting another 15% increase. A part of that has been an increase in the number of young people sentenced in criminal court who come to us with determinate sentences that tend to be longer. And so that is driving our population up.
Okay, thank you. And I know this might sound like a pie in the sky, but your team and you and your previous, your predecessor have done such an amazing job with this agency. If you had a wish list, what would you ask us for?
I think a good part of our wish list is in this budget. The money to upgrade the video cameras is very, very important. In our facilities, we still rely on video systems with coax cables that are not digital and physical DVR recorders where those hard drives go out with some frequency. So that video camera upgrade is really important for safety and for accountability. The furniture that we're hoping to purchase for more of our facilities, we were fortunate with the opening of Monarch to have really beautiful, soft, safe furniture purchased, and we want to be able to purchase similar furniture like that for more of our youth spaces in the upcoming year. So those are a couple of the things that we're hoping to do.
Okay. Thank you for that, Director, and thank you to you and your staff for the work that you do day in and day out for our most vulnerable, and the approach of really digging into these youth and what happened to them before they came into our system, and addressing that trauma and breaking some of these cycles is imperative. And I thank you for your service. Thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. Any other questions? Seeing none, Director, I want to echo the sentiments of Senator Edley Allen. As a former DJJ guy myself, I really want to commend you all for the work that you're doing in the lives of these young people, right? You're following the science, and it's paying off. So whatever we need to do, personally, me, I'm a big advocate for DJJ and the work that you all do. Just continue on with what you're doing, and again, I just want to give you commend you all for the work that you do. Thank you. With us today from ICEJA is Director Delreese Adams, Deputy Chief Counsel Scott Resolute, and Chief Fiscal Officer Hemant Modi. Director Adams, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chair Belt, Vice Chairs, Minority Spokesperson, and committee members. I am Delreese Adams, the Executive Director at Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority. With me are ICEJA Chief Financial Officer Hemant Modi and Deputy General Counsel Scott Resolute. It is a pleasure to be with you today. ICEJA is the state's administering agency for violence prevention and victim services funding. We are nationally recognized for our work to further justice reform while supporting victims of violent crime. ICEJA's fiscal year 27 appropriation of $497.1 million includes a reduction of $3.2 million in the general revenue fund compared to the fiscal year 26 appropriation. Driving the decline was $13.8 million reduction in our co-responder pilot and fund for Illinois future appropriations. While federal cuts have not yet affected ICEJA in any reduction to funding, news of possible federal funding interruptions is concerning. Currently, 30% or $64 million of federal aid makes up ICEJA's portfolio. In fiscal year 26, ICEJA launched 21 public safety and victim service funding opportunities and invested in approximately 900 grantees, distributing nearly $195 million. Sourced nationally, ICEJA data helps policymakers and practitioners advance promising practices. In fiscal year 26, our 6 research centers published 50 research reports and evaluations and 22 articles and made presentations on deflection, diversion, reentry, and violence prevention. Our victim data portal assisted domestic violence agencies in providing over 621,000 direct service hours, to more than 52,000 survivors. ICEJA is a lead partner in the Government Alliance for Safe Communities, a multi-governmental collaboration that has invested millions in evidence-based gun violence intervention. In fiscal year 26, GAS partners also committed funding to support capacity building for CVI organizations. Capacity building and technical assistance remain a need towards equitable grant making, and ICEJA's fiscal year 27 budget requested $4 million for its Institute to Innovate to continue working with grassroots organizations. As Illinois moves toward community corrections and sustainability, ICEJA's violence prevention initiatives serve as exemplary models. In its 5th year, the Restore, Reinvest, and Renew, R3 program, supports communities harmed by violence, excessive incarceration, and economic disinvestment. Lawmakers purposefully crafted R3 legislation to advance resource equity that heals traumatized families and rebuilds decimated communities. Since its inception, R3 has been changing the community's trajectory. R3 has committed $330 million to approximately 500 community organizations. Impact defines success. The leading indicators for R3 are positive. Cohort 1 process evaluation identified 137,000 clients served and 369 jobs created statewide. With federal cuts to violence prevention programming for CVOs, the state's investments are critical. More than 780 organizations responded to our 4th release for R3 for a $50 million grant opportunity this year. That's a 36% increase over last year and an 86% increase since inception. We know that investing in community-centered solutions has proven impactful. 2025 data shows Chicago homicides are down 31.5% and 10% statewide compared to 2024. Our goal is to replace generational trauma with sustained resources that build safer and more resilient communities. I recently heard a mother who lost a child to gun violence say there are too many empty beds. This was in reference to homicides, suicides, and accidental shootings being the #1 leading cause of death of youth ages 1 to 18. Black male teens are 24 times more likely to die by gun homicide than their counterparts, and suicide is the leading cause of death for Asian American teens. ICEJA's work is critical to strengthening our public safety infrastructure. Investing in community builds a safer Illinois. Thank you for your time. My staff and I will address any questions.
Thank you, Director, for your introduction. Do we have any questions? We'll start off with Senator Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nice to meet you, Director. I'm sorry I haven't had the pleasure of meeting your team yet. I just had a couple of questions about one of your GRF requests. I do not know what capacity building is, and if you would define what capacity building is in your GRF request, and then also if you give me a couple examples of who would be receiving this money and whether it's a grant or if it's a direct contract through you.
Yes. So capacity building and technical assistance is ICEJA's means to address really small localized groups that have traditionally not had state funding. So what they're finding themselves is challenged in being able to meet the grant administration and compliance rules of the state.
So that's not a grant?
It is not a grant
Okay.
per se. The $4 million is, it does have a grant component, but most of it is for staffing. We do have what we call grant specialists, or what do we call them? Our eye-to-eye coaches, we call them grant coaches, that add a supplement of support to organizations that have ICEJA dollars. And then we also have a component where we do an institute, where we provide organizations that traditionally have been rejected from getting state funding because of unreadiness, where we help them to build that muscle to be able to
So they
apply.
come to you? And
we
they
do
ask-
some outreach as well, but they also apply and are not successful.
And so is there a certain window when they can apply for that?
Yes, we do
And-
release what we call a request for information, or RFI.
Okay.
And within that window, they can apply. And then if they go through the institute after the 6 months and they successfully complete it, we do a notice of funding opportunity released for capacity building, and they are qualified to apply.
Okay. Can you give me a couple examples of like who would be receiving that, and then like what do they do?
Yeah,
Because I'm not familiar with this at all.
It's violence prevention organization, so it is again hyper-local, very small grassroots organizations that what we call boots on the ground, really serving.
What a name of one of them?
There are several, so I can name Vision of Restoration. We have
Restoration?
Vision of Restoration,
Vision.
Urban Mail Network. We have, right now, I believe there are over 30 organizations that have been through the Institute.
30?
And so we can definitely get you that list.
I was just curious because, again, I don't know anything about this. So are most of those in the northern part of the state, or do we have any downstate or even in central
Yeah,
Illinois?
the majority of them are in the city of Chicago, doing sort of that critical violence prevention work, but it is a statewide program. We have several organizations in East St. Louis, others in Decatur, so it spans the globe of the state.
Good to hear there's some indicator necessary. In the Carbondale area, is there
Yes.
some down there too?
Champaign.
So how would they find out about how to apply for that?
So traditionally, we have a community engagement person that does a lot of outreach to make sure that organizations are aware. We show up at different community events to spreading the word that this is available. But we also have what we call like a listserv. So like any of our ICEJA grants, you can put your name on the listserv and you'll receive notifications whenever we're doing a new
If
meeting.
that's something that we can help you with to help push it out, a lot of times we do that with different other agencies to say, we need help pushing this out to our community. Please let us know, because I'm sure there's communities that could probably use that assistance. So
Yeah, absolutely. And a
thank you.
part of that work is we will come to your community. Legislators have asked us to come, and we do gather certification and compliance information and training. And so that is a part of the capacity building as well. So yes, we will definitely do a broader outreach to legislators. And if you do want us to come to your community, because you know you have organizations who've said they want state dollars, but they haven't felt ready, we will come out and do that work.
great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Bryant.
Thank you. Thank you, Director, for coming. I don't believe we've met before, so it's nice to meet you for I think the first time, right? Okay. I just had I had a question about an audit finding, because obviously in a couple of other states, there are a lot of questions about how grant money is being used. So referring to I think this is the Inspector General's audit, the Auditor General, the Auditor General's finding. Just, I'm going to read it to you so I get it exactly right. The Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority failed to conduct adequate site visits, monitoring of its grantees in accordance with its federal state grants unit policy and procedures. So it's showing that 25 of 104, in 125 out of 104 grants, no one did site visits. And then in a different spot, the authority didn't perform site visits for 30 of 60 grants. And then of 65 programs which had a site timely conducted by the authority, auditors selected a sample of 10, blah, blah, blah. And that they noted that the reports were completed 21 of 47 days late for the grants. So I'm hoping that you are resolving that issue. And if so, would you please tell us how?
Yes, so those findings have been work in progress. Many of those were a reaction to our own policies, where we require a site visit for any new grantee that has not had ICEJA dollars within the first year. Our policy requires us to do a site visit. Due to some staffing shortages, we did not fulfill our own policy, and so that is sort of
So
what the
this
findings
is
are.
indicating that federal law required something for the state grants. So, wait a minute, in accordance with its federal and state grants unit policy. Is that just the name of the? Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
yes.
Doesn't have anything to do with breaking a federal law?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Gotcha.
It is,
so-
again, ICEJA's policy on site.
Yeah, so there's like $500+ million that go through your agency, and it looks like it's like 90 some odd percent, 90, large 90, like 98%, I think, of the money that goes through is actual grant money. So can you just quickly walk us through how you make sure that we're not going to find something like we've seen in a couple other states where there wasn't any semblance of it being, actually being used appropriately?
Sure. So we take a lot of what we call compliance measures to make sure that there is oversight. And where we don't physically do a site visit, we have what we call desk reviews, where we're having organizations submit monthly and quarterly reporting. We are analyzing those reports, making sure that program measures and the compliance of their grant contracts are fulfilled. We would say that we do a lot of touch points with our organizations, making sure that whatever is in their scope of work, that they're meeting those performance measures. And if we don't, again, do it in a physical site visit, with the monthly performance reviews and financial reporting, we're able to see that activity is.
Who does
is
your
forthcoming.
site visits?
Our grant monitors.
And are you staffed up now on those grant monitors?
We are getting there. We have about 33 vacancies across our organization.
Out of how many?
Out of 167 headcount.
So 30 plus percent. My math is not that great, can you tell? 30 plus percent.
Right.
Okay.
And so we are getting, completely staffed up, but there are grant monitors assigned to each grant. So even though our staffing is short, no one is without oversight.
Okay, thank you.
To the virtual committee, do we have any questions?
Edley Allen, but I don't want to step on Leader Hunter. She wants to. Okay,
yeah.
I'll go. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director. There were some pieces of information that you presented that I would just like to have repeated into the record. First, the data show that these programs work. So I jotted down quickly, but if you could go back in your notes and just repeat, I think it's worthy, that I believe you said there were 780 agencies that applied, and it was a 36% increase. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is for the R3 program. So we had a cohort 4 release recently, and there were 780 applications, which was a 36% increase from our cohort 3, where we received 535 applications.
Okay. And the data on gun violence, would you be able to repeat that about as far as the leading cause of death, some of the numbers, because each of those is a life that we that has left us way too soon, and I just want to make sure that we honor those numbers again.
So what I did state was Chicago homicides has reduced 31.5%, and then statewide the reduction in homicides is 10%. But I did also talk about the leading cause of death for Black males is gun violence, and they are 24 times more likely to die by homicide than their counterparts. And the leading cause of death for Asian teens is suicide.
Thank you. And thank you for repeating that very important initial piece of data that homicides are down 31%. So it is showing that when we make investments in these communities that have historically not had received investments, that we do see good things and I hope that you continue the good work of reducing those numbers. Thank you, Director, for your work. That's it, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, Director.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Senator Hunter here.
Leader, go ahead.
I don't have a question to Director Adams. I just had a comment that she and her team has been working very hard with me and my task force, which is the Missing and Murdered Chicago Women, right? And Girls Task Force for the past 3 years, actually. We've actually been gathering a lot of information. We have presentations from different groups and organizations every month. And Director Adams, I just want to thank you and your team for accommodating us and working with us. And we look forward to continuing this task force until we can figure out how to save lives and put together more preventative measures to save these girls and women from getting murdered and abducted. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your work, Senator.
Thank you, Leader. Director, I'll be reaching out to you to hold one of those workshops in my district. That got a workshop be soon. So,
We look forward to it.
thank you all for coming in. Before we conclude, Mark Gates from the Safer Foundation will come up and give some words to the budget request.
Thank you, Chairman. So I was listening to what you question that was asked about, furthering some of what CJIS sponsors, and they actually sponsor one of our programs. So I'm hoping that this will give you some more insight, Senator Bryant. So Safer Foundation, we have a program called Working for Peace, and what it does is it reduces recidivism and it promotes public safety by providing employment, reentry, and wraparound support services to individuals who are returning from incarceration, living in the community. And then to further give you some of the stats, so we had over 635 participants that were funded through ICEJA. We also led about 17 individuals to Medicaid. We've done referrals for mental health, substance abuse under this program. We've also helped individuals get jobs, roughly 66 job starts, and about half that are still employed. So I just wanted to come and further support the ICEJA efforts. And then I also want to say is that we have bills that will fund reentry services, and we're hoping that those dollars, come down to ICEJA to help further support the programs that they've been supporting in the past for Safer. And we also have a pilot that has been put before you last week in a testimony. And so we wanted to make sure that get acknowledged. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for bringing that to our attention and underscoring the importance of the work that's being done. Before you leave, any questions for Mark Gates? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no further business, the Appropriations, Public Safety, and Infrastructure Committee stands adjourned. Let's get out.